Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Last time on Basements and Bandits, everyone having retrieved something from the crumbled to ash phoenix statue, the intrepid explorers continued. Wading through the waterlogged court, they happened upon a submerged shrine. In altar, 2 statues depicting an old figure and an inscription resembling a head. After smashing the pots and having a discussion with the snake, 2 gold pieces were placed in 2 of the 3 sockets, plugging up the holes that were leaking water into the room. The inscription obviously disagreed with this and opened the floodgates and washed everyone out of the shrine area. With a rapidly rising water level, they hurried towards the stone slab that Mouse and Toka opened, finding some some strange burial rites no longer in use, and a very interesting mural. The party took a quick rest before venturing beyond the illusionary wall. And so we find our group together at one of the entrances to this room. Streams of water everywhere. In the center of the room is a large crystal, bathing in bright light shown on it from the statue of an armored master of battle on the southern wall. Illuminating other sections of the room, shining beams of light down, are 2 other statues. They each have podiums that you can step on to reach like a higher portion on them, and they appear to be like square platforms on circular daises. The other 2 statues, one is a scholarly looking statue with a magical rod held aloft. The other is a robed individual holding 2 money bags. Another statue in the room is pouring water from an urn, creating a waterfall in front of it, obscuring its lower half. And Chuman, where you are, you can see a hallway heading west, blocked by a door at the end of the hallway. There's many rocks going everywhere. There's water that on the floor here, and in the middle of the room are 2 lampads. These shard creatures, one Nevis and one he has called Moot, as these wardens over souls whirl their magics, and whirlpools of water and gusts of wind blow. I need everyone to roll initiative. Let's see here.
Okay, I think I'm safe to save my initiative. Or my inspiration, that is.
Ba-ding, ba-ding. Oh wow, absolutely. They both rolled terribly.
Why is your initiative plus 12?
Pastiche rolls for initiative plus 10?
That's
plus...
about 5 more than it should be.
Is it applying it twice or something?
Yeah, it is applying it twice. So I put in a plus 5 modifier so that it would calculate it correctly, because an update introduced a breaking change to it, but looks like recently the breaking change was fixed. So now let's subtract 5 from that, and you'll be at 14. All right. Which brings us, as these 2 are whirling their stuff, and they're ready to whisper menacingly at you. Where is it? There it is. They're ready to whisper menacingly at you, Xalia. You start us off. What would you like to do? Are you muted, perhaps?
I am muted. Thank you for pointing it out. Which was the one that fucked with her earlier?
The one in the front.
Okay, she's gonna just magic missile that bitch.
Go for it.
No hesitation.
Sounds about right.
I'm gonna assume it went back up to full because I've been tracking it for a little bit.
You
What?
you use 6 charges to deface the mural of Wenceslas on the pillar.
Right. Thank you for the reminder. Never mind, it's not at full, so we're not gonna magic missile him. We're gonna walk up and fucking fire blast.
Oh.
Well,
Xalia's going in.
Sister off. How long is that? That is.
Liking
15
this
foot cone,
music.
So
Yeah.
yeah, need to be there. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, can do that.
Cool.
Fire
Okay.
blast.
Tell me about your extremely burny hands.
Oh, it is Xalia, so it's, a little bit. Let me roll that.
Oh
Let
my
me check my
goodness.
spell slots, by the way. That was my last. Fuck it, we're gonna upcast that to 3rd level because she's really pissed at them.
Wow.
Alright, I
oh
love
boy.
it.
Basically because it is Xalia, it's not just normal fire. It's like twisty, dark fire. Maybe there's some tentacles visible in there. You never know.
Alright.
You never know. Oh
Ouch.
my god.
That's a lot of 5s and 6s.
It's just a 15. This is a 19.
Yeah. Owie. Alright, I have rolled a 2, a 1, a 1, and a
Yeah.
9. There's hope for you guys today.
Nice.
Alright.
Not their turn.
Apply damage. That hurt.
Owie, owie.
You said you wanted us to roll high on initiative.
I mean,
True.
yeah, that's
He's
good.
just gonna straight up fucking hiss at it, full-throated.
Alright, full throat hiss. Let's see. Yeah, that hurt as the fire waves over Neves, the lampad. He brings up an arm and whispers, but but shrieks in pain. Alright. Okay. So in response to this, on initiative 20, the 2 lampads are going to kind of whisper to each other, "Thereafter, we must protect the prophet, fall immortals." And they begin weaving their magics together, and out pop from the water. We shall see what out pops from the water. Shibing! Shibing! 2 creatures as Neves and Moot weave their magics together. One brings up water into the air and the other freezes it with a blast of cold air. And 2 more goons join the fight.
Wow.
I see.
Wandering souls.
This
Which brings us to Chuman.
dude really cut in line.
What would you like to do?
Is he technically behind the wall? Or behind this stone for me? Or
He's kind of floating in air and flitting back and forth, so he's not behind anything from your current position. Nah, he's good. He would not get a cover bonus or anything.
okay. Had an idea, but now I'm wondering if I want to change it slightly.
Well, if you would like to change your plan, now would be a good time, as these 2 creatures of ice formed from lost souls and water and wind magic now appear, and they're all being weird ice creatures now.
Right. Let's see. Chuman is going to use his longbow, and man, I really want to do that. Oh well, I'll do it next time. And he's going to attack the ice creature that has popped up in front of him.
Okay.
Go dunk on him.
Do it. See what happens.
Wait, would this be advantage since they don't see me?
Let's see here. What sight do they rely on? Is that advantage yet?
Yeah.
Cool.
Have to roll an extra.
Let's see. A 14 definitely hits. Owie!
5, and then it did not hold a 1d8, so I'll just add that.
The 1d8
And dread
is on your
ambusher.
extra attack. So you have 3 attacks this first turn, actually.
Yeah, this one's Dread Ambusher. Or... yeah, because it says if an attack hits, then I get an extra.
Okay. So you're using
Alright,
your
cool.
Dread Ambush attack first.
Yep.
Okay.
So then... I got 2 more. Let's shoot him again.
You notch an arrow into him. Yeah, this one hurts too.
We're just gonna blast him real quick.
Alley! As Chuman knocks arrow after arrow into this ice method, ice shards go everywhere, chipping him into a statue of a little cat, and it actually loses its essence and lumbers forward, slouches, and then
And finally...
boom! It explodes in ice, shrapnel going everywhere. But
Okay.
no one is harmed.
Oh, it's at 5 feet.
Yeah, but no one's
Yeah.
in 5 feet, so that's good.
Too bad. I like the cat. And lastly, Chuman is going to use his longbow. Actually, wait, no. Question. Is there a ceiling? Does it have any, like, jagged edges?
Yeah, there's many stalactites kind of like dripping water from here.
Is there one above him?
Let's find out. There either is or isn't. There is not.
Hmm. Well, I guess it's the only point. Guess it's only a reason to ask about him as well. Just check and see.
Nope.
Can't do twice. Dang it!
Can't lose the 50-50 2 times in a row.
Man.
I am here to block mix-ups. I am here to block
Possible.
overheads.
Well then, I guess we'll just be nice and normal with a straightforward arrow
Having to
right
do
at
your
him.
third attack.
Yeah.
This one unfortunately does not hit. You knock the arrow and then shing, it kind of bounces off this little crystal structure in the middle.
Spit my power early. That's it.
Okay. Zoaz, as things are swirling and starting to get hectic, what would you like to do?
Let's see. Zoaz is going to run forward and place himself between Xalia and the Mephit. And then he's going to swish his staff through the air and launch a guided bolt at the lampad in front.
Okie dokie.
Let's see.
See, his shards are badly burned.
I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll that
Okay.
and see if I can actually hit with a guiding bolt for once.
Hey,
There we
go.
23
I believe
definitely
you.
hits.
I assume 23 hits?
Yeah, 23 definitely hits.
Okay, cool.
Owie! Alright, that is enough to do it. Oh, got 11
Hey,
HP
exploding.
left.
Hit him.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Tell me how you destroy this idiot.
A silvery crescent sweeps through the air in an arc horizontally, goes just shy of this crystal structure in the middle, and impacts the lampad in the side and just sort of blows it over.
Okay. As it gets blown over, Neves kind of like freezes up and becomes even more shardy, gets blasted by your magical might, and teeters, leans, and then falls crash, dashing into a million shards in the water.
Anything else?
And Neves, the Watcher, is no more.
I believe that will be all for this turn.
Okay.
Yes.
At the end of your turn, the Keeper is going to be very upset at this. And she's going to weave her hands in a circle. The wind kicks up, crackles of lightning form between her fingertips, and then she points at you, Zoaz. It is not yet time. Halt your quest. And she throws a crackling beam of magical lightning towards you. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw, please.
Let's get it.
Wow.
I didn't get it.
Rigged. The dice got heavy.
Let's see. But also took a.
Oh.
I might just fall over here.
Jesus.
Well, I didn't fall
That's
over.
a lot of dice, yeah.
But
Let's see
I
here.
mostly fell over.
As this lightning bolt courses through your body and zaps you, Zoaz. There's a quick kind of like on-off of consciousness as there's this surge of energy pulsing through your body. Pastiche, the wall explodes, but right next to you as Toka is also blasted by this lightning bolt, and shards of stonework go everywhere, like battering against the side of your body, against your cheek. He's holding on the wall for support, and gets up and kind of like pounds his fists together. Zoaz, however, is looking kind of rough. What would you like to do, Pastiche?
Pastiche. It's gonna swirl their brush around for a bit as this glob of bright orange paint coalesces around it. And we're gonna fling that paint at this icy guy.
He's pretty icy, yeah. Alright, orange bad. Yeah, 22, just, it just barely hits,
Cool.
Owie!
And that's gonna be fire damage.
Alright. Pastiche, a very learned creature they are, gathers that ice reacts poorly to fire. And they're absolutely right. as most of this icy dude is just melted back in an instant. There's only this vague humanoid shape, barely struggling to hang on. As Pastiche just incinerates it.
And we'll slunk into this corner while we're at it.
Alright. This ice method is going to do what it does best and claw its own ass.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Let's
Don't
see if I
worry
roll
about it.
one.
It's gonna hit. It's just gonna whiff. Don't even worry about it.
Just dodge it.
Yeah.
So Zoaz, this ice method, it kind of like reforms itself and then shing, makes more claws made out of ice on its extremities, and then runs up to you. It looks like it's inhaling, and it goes to breathe this nasty frost breath on you, but it's melted, and it just kind of like pukes water on the ground, and then it just looks at you, looks at its claws, and then cuts you. Does
That
a
hits.
17 hit?
I re-roll that with inspiration.
De-inspiration.
Unfortunately.
Am I not able to re-roll other people's things?
You can't
I thought I
re-roll
could.
other
Oh,
people's things.
I thought it was any
Well,
d20.
No, it's only your d20s.
Zoaz cries out and falls over face down in the water.
Splash. The ice method kind of like... and then goes after Xalia. Not Azalea, it goes after Xalia. The Xalia. The Xalia. Makayla, what would you like to do? As Zoaz sploosh falls down in the water.
Well, not the only thing she can do. She's gonna, bless up and walk up to this method and take a swing. She'll do like a in one, because now she holds the staff in one hand and the match in the other. She's gonna like horizontal backhand it, kind of like backhand swing.
Okay, I like
And
that.
as it like passes through, it'll like pass through the flame of her match,
Yeah, 21 absolutely.
just for
is.
fun little flavor.
Owie!
Yeah.
With your backhand move, displaying your martial prowess. The ice method is no more as you cleave it.
Now
and
that it's
explode.
dead,
Yeah, it is now super dead, and it shivers and vibrates for a moment, and then kaboom!
well, since it's dead, can it still take my swarm, like the gathering swarm, knockback? How does that work? Does it explode there, or does it like?
It just says the attack's target must succeed.
You
It
could-
can't
you
succeed because it's dead, so yeah, I'll allow
I
it.
guess I could say
Yeah,
it's
you can-
non-lethal.
No, what you can do is you can say it's when it takes the hit, not when it takes the damage, so you can say this happens before it actually dies.
All right, cool. Yeah. So it means if. Oh, I guess. Does it still have to do the saving throw?
Yeah, it'll be immediately after you hit, so it's going to do a save.
Hey.
There's hope for you guys yet.
-1.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, move it over there. Get out of here.
Okay. The ice shards, kaboom! Shrapnel goes everywhere. Little ice crystals, deadly, freezing daggers, embedding into the statue.
And then she'll sort of walk up and move in front of the Zoaz. And I guess for bonus action, just activate. Oh wait, no, she can't. She already used bonus action. Yeah, she's done. She can't attack anything else.
Okay.
And turn.
Twig, what would you like to do as the battle unfolds?
Twig is going to pull a. 1 second. Pull a potion of healing out of his bag and dash up towards Zoaz to feed it to him.
Okay. You pull Zoaz's maw, or Zoaz's mug from the water, and open his maw, and then get the potion of healing uncorked, and then glug glug glug, down it. Down it goes towards his gullet. You can see Zoaz is partly singed, little like smoke rising from him. And you heal 5 HP, Zoaz. You're not underwater, you can breathe. That's pretty cool.
It was a little
Yay!
watered down. Sorry.
Yeah. Zoaz splutters and coughs out some water. Ah, thank you, friend.
And Twig will like clap him on the back and say, "We're not out of it yet." And he'll spend the rest of his movement slowly wading through the water.
Okay.
Right there.
Alright. Now it is the keeper's turn. She looks around quickly, seeing that she might be a little outmatched. And then the DM realizes Toko hasn't been added to the initiative order. We'll see him next round.
He's slowed because he has to carry.
Yeah.
Yes,
No.
carry mouse, yeah.
You just get hit with the lightning bolt.
Yeah, you did get hit with a lightning bolt.
Mouse get hit with the lightning bolt.
Mouse is fortunately very safe.
Okay.
She's in the other room. Let's see. Moot says, "No, my lord Wensinus. His eminence's return is imminent." And Moot is going to... Let's see here. Try to push you all backwards. Try to be gone, mortals. Sploosh. As she weaves this hurling gust, it wails towards you all, threatening to push you all back. The water's whipping in your faces, beads of water going everywhere. And not quite yet.
That's what's the start of your turn.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then, as
That one doesn't count then.
trying to keep forward through these blustering winds, you hear sploosh, and Moot disappears from view, dissolving into the water as she traverses. Let's see here. We're gonna go over here, because there's nobody over here. Chuman. You hear sploosh.
Oh.
Oh,
Which brings
So,
us...
question.
Yeah?
In character, is she aware that Moot went over there?
Yeah, you would hear it. It's this giant, like, as if a boulder, like, gets slam dunked in a canal.
Okay.
Reversing
well,
and
for starters,
without
we're
being
gonna-
seen.
We're gonna fail the strength save real quick.
Traversing
Yeah.
without being seen is cheating.
Alright, so 5 is 1, 2, 3 there-ish.
This blistering wind pushes you back, Xalia.
Alright. Then she's just gonna full on just... That doesn't count for my movement, right?
No.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello. Is that count as being able to see her?
Yeah, we'll say, like, in the dim light, you can see her form.
Alright.
You
We're
don't know
gonna long
Chuman's
shot.
there, though.
We're in a long shot.
Oh, alright, let's see. It's already kind of frightened. Let's see what happens. 16. unfortunately.
Yeah, that doesn't... Advantage on that, huh? Alright.
Yep. Somehow. They seem to be very magical beings.
No way. Yeah, she's gonna make a pissed off noise at it.
Okay.
You know, low growls, her usual, but I guess it doesn't work. Hello, Sigma. Xalia. That's her turn.
No, it is not yet time. Which brings us to Toka, who's gonna see what's up with this strength save real quick. Alright.
No, he doesn't have to try.
Toga's going to
Hello.
lumber. Goosh, goosh, goosh. The sound of his hooves in the water. Goosh, goosh, goosh. With his torch, he illuminates Moot. Then he's going to take the dash action, jump on top of the rock. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In a flash,
Oh.
Toka is there. He skids in the water, splashing everywhere. He attempts to bar her path. Chuman. Oh, unfortunately, you are illuminated. It seems. Mood is now keenly aware that she is surrounded. Very surprising.
Well, thanks, Toka. I had no idea.
He does his best.
He does his best. Question, out of character question. Does extra attack apply on melee weapons?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is anytime you take the attack action. So it's anything you attack with. You could even just punch him twice.
Tempting. Let's see. First, we're gonna use. Now that Chuman is illuminated, he's going to use Zephyr Strike to give himself extra handy and to get away a little bit better, but not before slashing with his hand axe at this keeper.
14 just barely misses. As you bring your hand axe down, there's some sort of warding wind that buffets you.
And as Chuman notices his attack gets blown off a little bit, he makes an adjustment and swings across his body to try and swing one more time.
Okay. Alright. Unfortunately, the wind is
Oh, wait.
too strong.
I'm actually bad. I forgot.
One of those should
Is
have
that
had
for-
advantage.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
advantage, yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Once before the spell ends.
We'll just apply it to the second one.
Okay. Bad.
There we go.
It was exactly what I was reading, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Wait a minute, this spell does something.
And an additional 1d8.
Yep.
Force damage.
And after that, Chuman just gets a ready stance to continue blocking this keeper, and that'll be the turn.
Okie dokie. Zoaz. Twig pats you on the back. And then the wind kicks up. Wah!
Yeah, Zoaz
Oh wait, actually,
is...
hang on a sec. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the wind kicks up, starting to roll you across the floor. Whoosh!
Not having a good day.
Yeah, how far back do I get
It's
blown?
15 feet.
15.
15? So it would be... there? Or is it, like...
Here.
Is it here? Yeah, okay. Tumbling through the water, Zoaz just kind of, like, splats on his back against the boulder. And then... I think Zoaz is just gonna kind of just like groan and sit there.
Okay.
He's
Shit.
pretty out of it.
Okay. At the end of your turn, this crackle begins to emanate between the keeper's hands, and then, as if trying to hurl a lasso around Chuman. Hiya! This crackling lightning goes around, and blue energy lances out towards Chuman.
Wait, is this like a reaction?
No, it's a legendary action, but I missed it anyway. Or Moon missed it anyway, so you had nothing to worry about.
Can't hit me.
Alright, which brings us to Pastiche.
Should wait his turn.
Well, Pastiche is going to join the fray. And, swing his brush around a bit. Throw some green paint around.
Owie. Alright, so you get to choose two creatures, so is it Chuman or Toka?
No one.
Oh. Alright, well, she fails the dexterity save. I'm rolling terribly tonight.
You really are.
Ow!
Jeez.
Alright. Anything else, sir? Or safe?
No.
Okay. You can hear whispering taunts from Moot. Fall mortals! Which brings us to Makayla's turn.
Oh, right. Are we actually going to keep the 7, or should I roll again? For the strength saving throw?
Let me find out.
Let me say if I roll higher than a 7. Or keeping it.
Jeez.
Alright. You're good.
Alright, yeah, Makayla like slams her staff into the ground and uses it to resist the wind. And then she's gonna, yeah, I guess she'll just get magic stone. She'll kind of like tuck her staff under her arm, and then with her now free harm, attack twice. With those things. Actually, she'll need to move twice this way.
Okay. 15 hits. Ouchie.
13.
13 does not, though.
Alright. And then, yeah. So then that's an extra 1d6.
Owie!
And, how's it looking? How's,
This thing is looking really beat up. Shards are, like, cracked out of her. There's bits of her shoulder missing. You just blew out part of her hip.
Alright.
Definitely struggling to hold integrity.
Kayla will kind of like duck out and go to Zoaz to try and like make sure he's okay. And then my turn.
Okay. Twig, what would you like to do?
Seeing that all the action is happening on the other side of the room, Twig is going to dash over to dry land and take a pot shot with an arrow.
Okay, one pot shot coming up. Uh, 14 just barely misses.
Dang. That'll be my turn.
Okay. Come to move the keeper. She's going to. Let's see here. She's going to look forlornly with an unhappy face over at Nevis. She can't resist. She's going to sploosh, dip out of view, sink into the water, and reappear sploosh, right next to the shattered crystals representing Nevis, and she appears to be kind of like maneuvering wind to gather them all up, and she's got like a ball of Nevis crystals now, just in an orb of air, and she's looking around.
Right.
And that's going to be her turn as she whispers out, "Do not disturb the prophet." Amonkhet.
Hello. Yeah, food. It's actually food time in 5 minutes. Calm
Which
down.
brings us to Xalia. What would you like to do?
I know how I could finish this. The question is, what is Xalia going to do? I think she's mad and is gonna make a stupid decision. Actually, I should.
Let's go.
Okay, never mind.
Aw.
She's not gonna make a stupid decision. She's gonna come up here, give the smuggest, like, most, you've done fucked up and I got you look that she can with her fucking skeleton eyes.
Okay.
And use her literal last spell slot.
Oh no! Alright, let's see what happens. 17.
I mean, that's still half
Yeah.
damage.
This still could be really bad.
Dang.
Still pretty bad.
Alright.
Jeez.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. Owie.
Damn it.
Let's see here. We're going to roll across the stage. The wind
Still up, huh?
disperses.
Okay.
Whoosh.
She's gonna cut with it a little annoyed.
Alright. Toka. Is going to... He's too far.
Pure
you know what'd be
melee build,
awesome?
SMH.
You know what'd be awesome? Toka's gonna make...
Mm.
Toka's gonna do something funny. Roll me something, Toka. Alright, Toka... Toka's gonna pick up this big stupid boulder and throw it at Moose. He's not proficient in boulder.
Lame.
But
If I were a
but he
Minotaur,
is
I would be
absolutely
proficient
going
in
to hurl
boulder.
it.
Can't believe it.
This guy works in the mines and he's not even proficient in boulder.
For real.
Yeah.
Alright, you convinced me, a 13 is unfortunately not enough. Toka picks up the boulder over his head, throws it 2 hands overhead, barely, like, if for a moment it kind of like spins and almost threatens to destroy the crystal structure in the center, but it splashes into this area next to Moot. A little off, unfortunately. Toka grunts and then runs over here. Being given the runaround is not something that he likes. Chuman, what would you like to do?
I can use dash as a bonus action, right? Or no?
No, it's an action for you, for rangers.
Okay.
You can cast, you have a special ability. You have a ring.
I
which you
do.
can use as a bonus action. That lets you cast a spell, that lets you dash as a bonus action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of that.
You could use the Expediter's ring.
Chuman, noticing the keeper suddenly disappearing in front of him, turns around and notices that he's back over at the Watcher, Neves. Chuman pulls up his ring and activates it so that he could dash straight over on top of Neves's body, and he's going to kick the keeper into dry land.
Okay.
The classic.
To shove her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Well,
probably...
I do want to do damage, but
Okay.
Would-
You would have to use one of your attacks to use a shove action in order to get her off of the water.
That's fine. Alright, then we'll do shove.
Okay. Which is an athletics check, and they can test it with athletics or acrobatics. They're going to do this one.
Wow.
Alright. You shove Moot, she goes stumbling onto dry land, off of the water. You can see the water kind of like pull at her legs, at her feet, as she is extricated from it.
And at that same moment, Chuman's going to pull out his crossbow and shoot at the leg.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
No.
Unfortunately, a 14 misses.
No. That's all Chuman's got.
Local move to
The crossbow
burn to
bolt
Just-
die.
digs into the ground.
Just gives a scoff at the crossbow missing.
That would have been so cool if it hit.
Zoaz just kind of groans as he pushes himself to his feet. And that takes half my movement, correct?
Half, yes. Costs half your speed. So you have 15 feet of movement left.
15. I do. Zoaz is going to dash. And that gives me another 30, right? So I'd have 45?
Another 30, that's right.
Okay. He's gonna dash all the way over. And then
Well,
he's going to Hungry Jaws.
revenge.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
No! Oh well. He snarls and hisses and tries to take a bite out of Keeper, but he's too injured, he's too off balance, and he just misjudges it and snaps at the air.
Very unfortunate. As Moot takes like a couple more stumbling steps backwards. Brings us to Pastiche. What's the plan? As this lampad, this shardy creature of ferrying and like warding, the warden of ethereal souls, is looking around.
Do
Looks
we
like she's
follow
trying-
Zoaz's example?
Looks like she's trying to find an escape route.
He's gonna do it.
Pastiche slithers over on all fours, loops around behind Mood, and lunges.
Oh no.
The lizard. Oh my
You rolled
god.
the same number.
The
Wow.
lizards.
The lizards.
Alright. The crossbow bolt is in the way, and the time it takes you to clear it, Mood is trying to evacuate. Anything else?
Oh,
Welcome.
Welcome?
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
okay.
Oh no.
You can hear the creature whisper, "No, do not bite me."
At least a little bit relatable.
Which brings us to Makayla.
Not relatable at all.
Oh.
What are you talking
It's
about?
not, an action investigation, I think, right?
Hmm?
Bonus action is
Oh, bite
'cause
is
Bite is an action. Hungry Jaws is a bonus action.
Speaking of which, my Hungry Jaws is missing.
Oh.
I didn't do it.
I don't think I did it.
Actually, wait. But on that topic, no, Makayla's right. Hungry Jaws is an attack by itself. It just uses bite, so you technically have an action. Zoaz.
Or
Oh.
Pastiche, you mean? Because
No,
I
used
used
use
bash.
dash to get there.
Oh, never mind.
Pastiche.
Makayla
Or did
confusing
you
me.
just? I am okay. I think I'm just confusing myself.
Pastiche does not have an action. Pastiche has a bonus action.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
All right then. That's fine. Then
Hat.
well, how close am I? Oh. Close
Are you
enough.
gonna bite her too?
No.
Why not?
Yeah, come on.
Don't quite have the jaw strength for it. I think.
Lame.
Inability
Why
to
not?
sort
Why
of
can't you?
Not with that attitude.
You know, she runs up and dislocates her jaw. No, she's gonna attack 3 times.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that the second time.
Because it's fun to click.
It is fun to click. That's
Oh my god.
that's a 2.
Not with that attitude, you're not.
Oh, yo, let's... Can we get the 3?
Alright, if it's
Ah,
not the worst
darn it.
attack,
I was getting
Um,
real hopeful for a second, but a 15 hits.
Alright, and then a 1 on the name. Alright, because no, I
Is there,
refuse.
All right.
is there a low roll buff going on?
It's all the bad
There
rolls
we
we
go.
got.
Ah.
Alright, Swarmkeepers. On the final sort of backhand of, or the final swing, the butt of the pole goes hard.
Basically, that's a blood, life, or death. I see.
There we go. There we go. 15 damage on a bonus attack.
Darn. You guys killed my dudes. No, it's not like that. So, Makayla, as you rush forward and bonk and give a little butt strike with the butt of your pole arm, holding this windy orb containing the shards of Neves, falls over off balance and shatters into a million pieces. The million pieces of Neves also spill over in shrapnel everywhere. And once again, as the melee is over and returned to you as only the water drips of this area, the shards kind of glisten in the light, shining down from the statues, and as you look around, you become aware, eerily, not eerily. You become aware of the waterfall noise of the little water carrier here, and there we go. What does Xalia do? Xalia.
I'm gonna skitter over to the corpse and then bite the biggest clump of shards she can find.
Okay. Flip me a coin.
Okay.
For a second, because of the token placement, I thought Chuman was dead.
Yeah.
And like had a momentary like panic. I was like, wait, when did that?
Tails.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Oh wow. Nice.
Delicious.
The color strong
Alright.
jaw, Xalia.
You
You
were
will not interfere with her bite.
Xalia does not suffer a joke.
She does
And-
not have a
and she just-
jawbreaker.
Chomp. Just.
Twig is just like watching on with his beak slightly open.
All I can see in my head is like those scenes in cartoons where the character is on all fours, like shaking their head with the paper in their mouth,
Oh,
like
yeah.
shredding it.
From Ed and then he just feral.
Xalia, you take a massive chomp, and I just grind the rest of this big chunk of shards into more dust, and very triumphant, assert your dominance over these creatures.
It's not asserting dominance, he just wanted to be like a friend.
Well, then never mind.
Peer pressure. Makayla turns to Zoaz and mutters just got up and you ran right in there. Are you trying to get yourself killed? As she goes and casts enhance, she'll sort of do twirl her or move her staff around you, almost like knighting you. Cast enhanced ability, the bear's endurance, and you'll get 2d6 of temporary hit points.
That's nice.
Be like, it's not much, but it's, might be something to keep you a little healthier.
Zoaz sort of sheepishly nods and says, my thanks. I suppose I wanted to end the conflict sooner rather than later.
Well, I suppose it would have ended one way or another. Then she'll turn back and notice. Is this like a statue? What?
Yes.
What is that statue?
It is exactly a statue. Notably, it is the only one that is not shining forth a beam of light. It appears to be the statue of a water carrier. They're just lightly light garments. They're holding like an urn, and then from it is spouting forth a large amount of water that's cascading over the front of them, and it kind of obscures their lower torso in water. It adds to the ambience of the room. Just
are we able to see the path behind it?
no.
Okay. So it's just standing tall. Got it.
Zoaz sort of jumps the frankly strange hand that just got ran over his face, and then realizes it's from Xalia, and he gives a shaky smile and nods at her.
She'll just give him a smile back and then pat him on the nose.
Is Makayla will sort of point towards the western side of the room. Ask, is that a passage or another dead end? Can't quite see from here. Because
Base. Go ahead.
As Makayla says this, the impressive dark vision bestowed upon you all by Selene fades.
Twig is going to
it
take
does.
a couple steps closer, and he'll call back to Makayla. It looks like a passage from here, but we'd have to get closer to check it out.
You see her kind of just blink as her vision readjusts to not being able to see forever. They said something about a prophet. They were trying to protect someone, and I don't like the sound of that. perhaps, Chuman, you were right, and they are working with Feather.
White. Seems they're intending to revive someone. I couldn't exactly hear who during the midst of the battle.
Well, whoever it is, I cannot be good. Kira kind of like looks around. Trying to just figure out like where to go from here. I suppose we need to check out that passage, but there could be another secret entrance. I mean, we got into here through a fake wall. It's worth looking around and making sure everything is as it seems. As she goes and like looks over here, realizing she doesn't have actual dark vision anymore. We'll kind of like beckon Toka to move over here.
Make a
Come with her.
persuasion check.
Okay.
All right. With a grunt, Toka walks over, brings you the torch, and you walk down the path a few ways, and it's a kind of a crude hallway. It doesn't go very far. At the end of maybe like 60, 80 feet, you can see what looks to be a doorway, and it is split up the middle with two holes, kind of like on like the top-ish, and then one hole kind of in the middle where the line of the split is, and from these holes spouts water.
Huh.
In the midst of that, Chuman is going to go to the statue and see if he can see in between. I'm assuming that like right here is a small crack
Okay.
where you can see down.
Yeah, make a... Give me a perception check. You don't really need one, but give me one anyway. Okay, that's good. I just wanted to see if you got like a natural one or something. Yeah,
That was
so
close.
noticing, Chuman, being keenly aware of how things underneath the earth might be arranged, you catch sight of a crack where the statue is not flush against the wall, and trying to take care not to be kind of like blinded by the spray of this cascade of water coming from the urn, you kind of creep out a little and see between the statue and in between the fall of water and the wall, and indeed you can see that there is something behind here, but it does look like a path. It goes on for quite a while, but naturally can't squeeze past this like where the statue's knee is against the wall.
Okay.
Zoaz has dragged himself out of the water and is just sort of sitting down on the steps, sort of examining the base of the statue. Is there anything of note, or is it just dust and rocks?
Yeah, slide me an investigation check. You're just checking out the statue. You can see that it looks to be of a scholarly sort of person. They've got this magical rod aloft, and you have to kind of like shield yourself from being blinded by the light that constantly comes out of its face. But you can, even with that low investigation roll, you can see that there's an inscription at the bottom. It's clear, it's in common, and it says, "I will teach the water carrier the best methods."
Lily's gonna try to use a magnifying glass on the shards of the undead and see what happens.
Okay. Let's see here. So yeah, Xalia, you peer at the shards of the lampad, and the horns turn a little crystalline. They get something more green, more coralite color, and you do get to see them up close. It's not like a heavily magnified lens, but you're able to see kind of like that. They're definitely were made out of just actual crystals. You can see the makeup of just like many shards growing together, and they are quickly drained of magic.
He will nod attentively and write it all down.
Twig is gonna check out this structure in the center of the room and just see if there's anything interesting about it, or if it's reacting to the light being shown on it in any way.
Sure. Investigation check from you, sir. Twig, as you scan your very practiced eyes. Oh my goodness.
Practice that. Go on.
As you scan your practiced eyes, looking at the kind of like, not the base, but like where it's holding this crystal mechanism, you look around and you see that it has a clear lit up inscription that reads, "Commerce will be the cornerstone of the king's Khorzaire. Many hands make light work." And you, after reading this, you look up and see the crystal, and then before you can get a really good look at it, like you hit the you're looking at it and you turn up and look around, and then you hit the light in a very bad way, and you kind of blind yourself momentarily. There's flashes and spots going everywhere as you reel back in a bit. And I have just remembered a request, so scholarly statue inscription. I will teach the water carrier the best methods.
And that's what Zoaz saw, correct?
Yes.
Cool.
And this is the crystal.
Chuman is gonna move over to the middle statue and see if there's anything of importance here.
Sure. Investigation from you, please. A 0. Alright, so Chuman, being attuned to underground, and you've kind of been in your element for a long while, you have fully adjusted, and as you go and check out the statue, you kind of like roll your shoulders a bit and like look up at the statue. It's just blinding. You have to like, you even have to like stumble and put down your goggles back a bit. You cry out, "Ah!" and everyone can hear it as you are clearly in some degree of pain from the shining light of day, as if sunlight had blasted you. I would love to give you anything, but you rolled a 0.
That is unfortunate.
Could say it's a new experience.
Twig, not seeing this, like rubbing his eyes, says, "Careful, Chuman. The light's very bright."
Chuman rubbing his own eyes. You're a bit too late, unfortunately.
Makayla comes back from like inspecting the pathway and saying like, "Well, water's coming from there, and I don't think, after last time, I don't trust anywhere where water's coming from." And then she like stops, seeing just half the party blinded.
In fact,
Kind of just.
you are actually blind, Chuman. We'll see what happens later. Continue with Kayla. Don't mind me. I'm just the peanut gallery.
Yeah. She'll just like cut off and sigh, and then look at the statue right north of her.
Okay. Investigation check from you, please.
The beggar? Question mark. Look, the one that has like a, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Higher than a 3. Let's
That
go.
was really cool.
These are like terrible rolls.
This is the real fight.
This is
Maybe
For
it
real.
is.
this is actually incredible how bad we've all rolled investigation.
Gonna just out of morbid curiosity, they're gonna start looking at things.
Okay.
So I just want to see what happens more than anything.
All right.
Nice.
Xalia,
You
bring it
didn't
back.
believe in it.
Xalia
Thank
brings
God.
the baton.
She's gonna
Didn't
like
believe in the
look,
roll.
see Makayla looking at things and just try to look over her shoulder, basically,
Okay.
and just start pointing at things.
All right, Makayla, you take a look at this person, and they're like sort of wrapped up in a merchant's kind of garb. They've got
Mhm.
robes, like flowy robes that protect them from the sand and the sun. They have headgear that keeps sand out of their hair, and they're holding two satchels of money. Looks like, just outstretched.
Mhm.
You can definitely tell that there's a large, beam of light shining from their face. But expertly, you shield your eyes. And you can see that there's an inscription. And on the inscription, it's clear as day. It says, I will pay the water carrier for their task. And Xalia, as you peer over Makayla's shoulder and point, you're able to spot that there is a difference in how these statues are sitting. They're square platforms on top of a round dais, and they're kind of set apart. And you expertly spy something of a rotating mechanism, suggesting that the statues can be moved. As far as their orientation, of course.
She will snap her fingers, just snap back from her bony tar form to her just default form, and then also just minor illusion, a version of a little hologram of the statue, and spin it. And then she's gonna point at the rotating mechanism.
Makayla just nods. I think it's some sort of. So you think one of these can move the? We need to turn one of these to move the statue over there. She'll point to the. I guess water, like the one. It's the water carrier.
Mhm.
Well. But-
On the map, which statue is which?
This is the hood. This is the
Okay.
scholar, and then this looks like some kind of master of battle.
Okay.
And then this,
Where's
of
the water
course, is
carrier?
the water carrier.
Okay. Thalia's gonna try to push on the rotator a little bit,
Okay.
see if it does anything.
You saw it coming. Strength check, please.
Yep. Hey Sigma, you're whiny.
Sigma wants to help.
Oh,
my
Oh
God.
my god.
Thank you, Sigma.
Sigma
Let's
is
go,
helping.
Sigma. Alright, Xalia. Using your expertise in.
She's gonna try to point it at the water carrier.
Okay. Using your expertise in your arcane studies and how devices work, you easily shift the. Oops. You shift the statue and it moves over. And when you move it over the crystal in the center, it shines, like the crystal catches it and shines a bit, and you get the idea that rather than at the water carrier, it should be pointing at the crystal, because the crystal kind of like collects the light a bit.
Right, she'll stop and then turn it back a little bit. She's gonna shapeshift herself to have more visible muscles because she's a little proud of that.
Yeah. Like you do shine it over the water carrier, but the when you do, it's just you noticed an effect on the crystal more so than the water carrier.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, okay.
Does the other one's turn as well?
She'll scrabble over and check.
Yeah, with the Xalia having figured it out on the other one, all three of these turn.
Okay.
I'm try to point it out the crystal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me one more strength check for funsies. Whoever would like to do it.
You know what?
If only there was someone who had like advantage on all strength checks right now for an hour.
It's Constitution.
Oh, is it Constitution?
It is
Yeah,
Constitution.
okay. That's about right.
Oh, both strength. Yeah, sorry, got mixed up.
She's gonna complain
Wow.
to this one. Like, she's gonna make him complaining like.
Toko will pipe up. What? Can you only do one at a time? And he'll come over. And Toko's so strong he doesn't need a check.
Wow.
While this is going on, Pastiche is gonna take a shot at the south statue.
Alright, Pastiche. One investigation check from the snake.
He's very annoyed at me for reasons I
Chuman
don't
still got his
understand.
eyes closed, trying to recover from the blind.
Yeah, you kind of like sidle past a blind Chuman just reeling. And yeah, so you hear the sound of stone grinding as Toka moves this scholarly-looking fellow, the magical rod held aloft and pointing the way for the light. Just Pastiche, yes. You also confirm that this one is able to be moved, and it does have an inscription. This kind of like knightly, master of battle looking character. It says, "I will guard the water carrier from danger." While you're over here, your investigation is so high that you also kind of like look back at the crystal gathering the light. Now that all the statues are shining at it, and you notice that there's something a little bit extra shiny about the crystal, and it seems to be something of a reflector, and it's currently pointed up at the Master of Battle statue here,
Okay.
where it's kind of like shining the light back at his face.
Well, Pastiche is gonna read that inscription out loud, and then pat Chuman on the back.
Amelia is going to scrabble up to the reflector and try to point it at the water carrier.
Okay.
Twig will help as well.
Hey, the two of you helping together. You do not need a check. You automatically
No
pass
way.
when many hands make light work.
Oh.
Crazy.
Chuman not knowing initially, he just says, "Pastiche, is that you?"
And Chuman, as the mirror is swiveled away from shining the light up at this Master of Battle and pointing towards the water carrier, shining upon the waterfall, little sparkles and shimmers. You are no longer blind as the party clears the trial, and the light shines through the waterfall, and it appears to illuminate an archway that you may pass through. And the way is clear.
Nice.
Makayla, kind of done with puzzles and sort of mechanics in this temple or ruins, goes up to fetch Mouse, make sure she's okay, and sort of say that the way is clear. And did that make any like noise as that was activated?
Yeah, it made doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doo.
Upon hearing the jingle, we'll sort of look over and say, like, oh, well, I believe the way is clear now. Come.
Good work, guys.
Sort of help her.
It sounded like there's some kind of melee up here. Did you get him good? Zoaz, you ain't looking so good.
Zoaz grunts. That's all. Just
Yes, it was quite the brawl.
Oh wow, that's cool. Mouse takes a look around. Do you mind if I? And she kind of points over. She points her thumb over her shoulder at the statues.
Kayla kind of shrugs.
Mouse doesn't wait for an answer, and she spends a few minutes looking around, noting things, jotting. Like, she whips out this journal and just starts jotting things down. And within a minute or so, she's back. Still clearly hurt in the leg, but she's looking a little better after the rest. Oh, that reminds me. She's gonna spend some hit dice. Live, mouse. Alright. Took a harumph. Mouse looks ready. She walks up the Toka. Doesn't say anything, just stands there expectantly. You can see Toka visibly roll his eyes. Like, in fact, he moves his head as part of the roll eye motion. And picks Mouse up. Tucks her under his arm. Come along. And as you all are preparing to go, a curious something spills out of the water-carrying urn, and in fact flops on top of Xalia's head because she is standing the closest to it. Xalia, you take this, and holding her hands, it appears
Grab
to be...
it.
Yeah, just grab. It appears to be some sort of leather... it seems to be some sort of leather sling, and it kind of buzzes with like just this tingle of magic in it. It just has based on your previous experiences, you can feel it just has a kind of minor enchantment instead of some storied, excellent boon to it. But there's definitely something strange about it.
She's gonna look at it with a magnifying glass.
Oh, okay. Flip a coin.
Okay. Heads.
Okay. You're not able to find out anything much more other than the reaction of the magnifying glass, which the horns turn into two wings. They're just like angular arcing wings.
Okay. I should actually write these down. I should myself.
Strange thing to be in a... Whatever.
I'll try like making a mock sling firing motion at the wall.
Well, I guess if you ever need any ammunition, you have all those pellets that we got earlier from the waterfall.
a matching pair, eh?
Might get some use out of that. Swim yet, Twig.
Chuman pulls his goggles down and then joins the rest of the group.
Who will carry the sling so I know who to award it to?
Xalia, well, she's gonna try it just to make a sling firing motion. If it doesn't work, she'll probably toss it to Makayla.
Okay. Are you loading
She can toss
anything
a
in it?
rock.
Or are you just like
Actually,
throwing in the air?
Yeah, air.
Okay.
See if it does anything.
Let's see here. So yeah, you spin the sling and then whoop. Does anything interesting happen? All right. Zoaz, you feel a puff of air, just like it's as if it came from you from the wall, just boom. As if you got shot with an air cannon.
Oh. Is it like forceful or is it like sort of pleasant?
It's pleasant.
Okay. Zoaz blinks a bit and looks at the wet sling and just kind of, oh,
Toss it to Makayla.
Makayla. Kind of awkwardly catches it because her hands are kind of full. And kind of just like she'll hand it over to Twig as she can.
you receive
Don't have
wet
any
leather,
service.
Twig,
wet leather sling.
you now have in your inventory a sling.
Whoa.
Web swing.
It's kind of inconvenient to try and use that if I'm holding this match in my staff.
Well, I'll have it here if you change your mind. But thank you.
Alright.
And I noticed it didn't have a description, so now it does.
Whoa.
Turn back. Is everybody ready? Can everybody continue?
Zoaz nods and says, I believe I can get.
Kayla nods back solemnly. Alright. Well, let's go meet this prophet, I believe it was.
Okay.
And start heading down this hallway.
Alright.
Same.
This illuminated hallway. There is a long tunnel from here. Cold, damp stone surrounding your echoing footsteps. The light from the previous room fades as it's not a completely straight shot. So as you go around a bend and come around again, it's gone, and now you just have Toka's torch and Twig's hooded lantern, unhooded, and there is an ever-present stream in the center, attempting to claim that all this was its doing, as it bores through rock and stone, eroding away and carving an ever deeper canal into the desert continent. It appears that goes on for several hundred feet, far past your torches and lanterns illumination, and far past the dark vision sight that a few of you have. The walls are rough, but quickly become apparently hewn from bricks, each laboriously placed one after another. The stream you're following spills between the cracks of the uneven bricks, and far off you can see a few dancing flickers of light. You're certainly coming up on something. Is anyone doing anything as you're marching down this corridor?
Bailey's gonna look at the water with her magnifying glass.
Okay. What are you attempting to look at the water about?
He wants to. She wants to see what it does.
All right. So Xalia, as you as you bend down and position your magnifying glass, cartoon detective style as you walk forward. Unfortunately, extremely boringly, nothing happens. But you are able to see the water up close. It's clear, actually.
Wow.
There's no sediment in it. There's nothing there's nothing like. It's definitely not dirty. It's clear, crispy water.
Good.
Crispy? Yo.
Crispy.
Yeah.
I guess as we walk, I mean, Makayla would sort of feel a wall, be like paying attention to it. Does it ever like change material, become like less, like look less old or anything? Like, does it ever change?
Well, it always looks old, but it stops being so like rough and jagged, and it becomes more worked and more obviously constructed. It's like for a moment it kind of returns to being like like just a random like underground place, kind of like the mineshaft was, and then now it's returning to be more temple or shrine-like. That kind of vibe that you get from the stone, as the whispers of the spectral vultures bring to you.
Neat. Oh, I guess speaking of whispers, do we hear anything beyond our footsteps?
Make
Or
a
are we
perception
just
check.
like perception?
Okay. There's the babble of the stream as you guys are walking through, the splash of your footsteps as you walk through it, the kind of like hard boot noise on the cold, stony ground for those of you that are avoiding the stream. You don't hear any whispers, so it appears that you are not being kind of beset upon by lampads or any other creatures that are able to whisper. You don't hear much of anything else at the moment, as you're just traversing through this tunnel.
Alright. That's probably it for me.
Okay, is anybody else doing anything as you're moving through here?
Chuman is. Go ahead.
Pastiche is going to be flitting their tongue a bit, seeing if they can smell anything weird.
Okay. That is definitely a sense, so please perceive. use your tongue to perceive.
As you do.
Okay. There's definitely the smell of water on the air, Pastiche, as you can taste it. It's refreshing, and let's see here. It does taste a bit older down here. You can also taste something peculiar, and it is you can smell upon the air. It's such a stark contrast with what you've grown accustomed to down here the past few hours that it's easily picked out, and
Right.
you smell vegetation. You smell plants. Also smells like a geek ran through here. Which is a movie reference, but
Chuman is gonna walk up to Zoaz and Zoaz, you're a native from this area. You care to humor a couple questions from me?
Zoaz nods and says, as best I can.
The curse that we spoke about earlier. The dead bodies only come to life above ground, correct?
Well, I believe that they always come back to life. It is that we send them to the Merchant King to have them taken care of.
Taken care of? How so?
I do not inquire in such grim things. It is not truly my place.
I see. So they have came back to life no matter where. But if that was the case, wouldn't we have seen some come back to life down here?
Zoaz tilts his head a bit and says, I suppose so, yes. That is quite curious.
As soon as you say that, Zoaz, you realize just how tired you might have been in order to just kind of be led along the conversation like that. And then, like, as soon as you say that, you realize that, or not realize, you remember that the curse of wandering seems to only happen where there is sunlight.
Say one more time? I did not hear.
You remember that the curse of wandering seems to only take effect where there is sunlight.
Zoaz thinks for a moment and then shakes his head and says, my friend, I apologize. I neglected to mention it. The curse, it is only it only affects those who the sunlight touches, only where the sunlight reaches.
Sunlight. I see. Thank you. That helps me consider things from back there. And
Zoaz nods and says, of course, it is no issue.
and that's it for our achievement.
I think it was... No, never mind. Anybody else? Twig?
Should be all set.
Okay.
By the way, you're set to away in game.
And?
Yes.
Oh,
He's
I
back.
don't remember clicking that.
Okay.
Well, this time.
All right. As you come across, as you continue across this tunnel and traverse, you arrive at its entryway, and peeling your way out of the tunnel turned hallway. We're gonna take a real quick break. like 2 minutes, I promise.
Okay.
Power break.
I'm remembering to unpause the recording.
Nice.
All right.
Leveled up. Let's go.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like Xalia would see Arcane and get inspired.
Definitely.
Hey Sigma, why are you like this? What do you want?
That's a question.
So let's see here. Makayla, as you are traversing through this tunnel and the dancing flickers of light come closer, your excellent perception check allows you to hear some sort of muffled voice as it echoes through the tunnel that you're in. It's difficult to hear at first, so you miss the first part of it. But you do manage to get the second part of it, which is, alright, tablet, your stupid life ends 30 seconds from now.
Maybe.
How
Not that bad, huh?
far away does that sound? Is that like echoing off the walls,
It's
or is that
echoing
like?
off the walls.
Okay. Makayla will, I guess, say back to the group in a hushed tone about Be ready, there is definitely someone down this hall. And
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
continue kind of moving with maybe a bit more haste.
Okay. Moving with a bit more haste, you all head down this tunnel, and Makayla, you can hear a sort of like a hushed and hasteful, "Oh crap!" And you all eventually, after maybe half a minute, you get to the entrance of this tunnel, peeling your way out of the tunnel-turned hallway. Before you is a legendary sight. You stand at the top of a staircase to a massive, expansive room. Green plants and vines growing on the sides of cracked rock. A few inches of water fills the floor, turning the entire area into a puddle, but not difficult terrain, with lilypads resting on the surface, vines hanging down from the rock walls. Cascading downwards is a flight of worn, algae-covered stairs. Candles sitting on plates, gently floating idly on the water amid fallen pieces of pillars and constructions and podiums. Stepping stones breaking the surface, leading to a platform, atop which stands a brazier, and overseeing it all is a massive, chiseled sculpture of a dragon. You look around, the water gently lapping upon the stairs, the idle candles just floating, spinning in their little water area. You can see the smattering of greenery breaking up the illuminated water and hanging from the rock walls. You can see that the rock walls are also just dazzled with many uncountable dragon shards embedded in this rock underneath the shimmering sands of Khorzaire.
Thalia's gonna take out the magnifying glass and start looking around at things. In particular, she's gonna check the water and the shards on the wall, and then maybe run up to the statue. But for now, she's over here.
Makayla's kind of just like stunned for a second, taking it all in, because she was not expecting this. But then she'll try and compartmentalize that and refocus on like trying to find if there's any sign of whoever was talking earlier.
Sure. Investigation check, please.
Oh,
Well,
investigation.
actually, that'd be survival.
Alright.
Also took a tick damage.
Whew, natural 20.
Dang.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good. The area is definitely clear. Like there's not a there's not a soul in sight. You can see the very slight disturbance of the water, where the ripples are still cascading outwards, kind of like batting up against her or against each other as someone stomped through the puddles. So that's actually the best possible result. You are able to find to determine that yes, absolutely, there was someone here, but now there is not. You get the idea that they were on the right side. This is where all the ripples are in
Sure.
the puddle. No, sorry, foolish. Left side.
Oh, okay. Kayla sort of stands at attention and is warily looking around. They might still be here. Be aware. Be alert. She kind of.
Do the dragon shards extend like all the way back here? Are they only in the backpack?
They're everywhere. Like you're next to
Okay.
even one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of just everywhere. They're like the little salmon lights.
Okay. He's gonna look at them.
Okay. The looking at most things in here, Xalia, your lens does not shift, but when you bring the dragon shards into view, the horns crystallize and then they stand straight up, and like a third one grows from the center. So you now have something that looks very similar to your icon on the
Okay.
item.
Okay.
And indeed, they are magnified. You can
Okay.
see that they're absolutely crystals, and then yeah, they're very similar to the one that you carry.
The broken one.
Yeah, the broken one.
She's gonna try to take it. Take one.
Okay. I'll probably take you like the next few minutes, but yeah, you
Okay,
can
that's
absolutely.
what she's
have one.
doing.
Sorry, I just can't help but chuckle. It's like, be alert. They might still be here. Instantly starts trying to pull out a rock.
Zalia's busy.
Yeah. You got your priorities straight. Don't. Don't let me get in the way.
I know it's far away, but would Twig be able to get a good look at the dragon statue to see like how detailed it is or how realistic it looks?
Okay. You would have to get closer, but
Okay.
it does seem that it would have a lot of little details, but you're not able to determine what they are from where you are.
Okay.
So you would have to go closer. As you kind of see that you would have to break away from the party, you look back at the rest of your team, who are ... doing ... question mark.
Zoaz kind of taking in the scope of this room, and sort of steps forward and. About how deep does the water get?
Just a few inches.
Just a few inches, like even like off the stairs and where I can see.
It's deeper off the stairs, but yeah, it's just a few inches.
Okay.
Pastiche is pretty fixated on the dragon statue himself.
It's definitely picturesque, Pastiche. A grand scene, if you ever saw one. Not quite what you normally paint, but there is beauty to behold.
I think Pastiche is just going to start walking towards it.
Yeah, I think
Twig will follow behind them.
Kayla would also be walking towards it. This is, it's clearly like the pedestal and the statue. It's like the focus of the room. There's something important about it, but she's not really focused on that. She's not looking there. She's more looking to the side and around, just trying to find any movement or like try and see where this person could be.
Okay. You've got Tolka and Mouse behind you. Makayla, give me a perception check, and we'll just hold that, and just until maybe the lighting changes or something.
Sure.
Or we'll just keep it until it's relevant.
All right.
How clear is the water? Is it like crystal clear,
Yeah.
dirty?
It is exceptionally clear. Like, there's definitely a bit of sediment, and you
Mhm.
test a bit. Like, you dip a toe claw in and kind of like kick up a bit of sediment, and of course, it immediately kind of murks in the area.
Yeah.
It takes a few seconds before it settles back down, but it is mostly clear. You can see the makings of eroded stone below, like where the flooring is peeking up through the sand and sediment of just erosion. You can see more worked, laid down bricks.
Well, Zoaz is going to hop off the stairs and start wading through the water, like sort of behind the group, but alongside them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Splash. I jump off and splash the water and just walking through the very, few inches of water and start looking around. It's cool, not frigid at all, so it's actually somewhat pleasant. As let's see here. As Chuman walks behind you guys, casting a wary eye around. Yeah, you guys step on top of these stepping stones. They are large, flat sheetrock underneath, just underneath the water's edge. And then there's another set of stones that, when you're walking on them, makes it appear as if you are walking directly on top of the water. The ebb and the flow of this kind of like slowly moving water around the scene sometimes comes off the rock and exposes the top, almost as if you're on a sandbar. And yeah, you guys are able to move ahead on each side of this kind of sheetrock sandbar, so to speak. There's candles that are just illuminating in this warm yellow light. You can see up ahead there is a hexagonal pedestal that is mostly below the water, but it does rise up, and there's a section that is completely dry that you can stand on. It appears to be illuminated with candles, and there's something of a like a bowl of sorts on top of it in the north part closest to the dragon statue. And all around you is the smell of cool, clean water, the smell of vegetation.
And there's no other like noise besides like us and the water sort of our stepping and like so the water moving around.
Yeah, you're
right?
looking around, trying to cast a wary gaze around Makayla as you move forward, listening intently. You can hear the soft lap of the water against the rock. You can maybe hear like a little clack as with the candles that are in the floating pans maybe bump up against a fallen pillar or something. But seems the coast is clear. You can hear Xalia's frustrated, like, grunts and growls as she, but then quickly replaced by a triumphant noise as she has successfully extricated a clear. Sorry, not clear. I don't even know what word I was going for. A complete, like a whole, kind of like oval-shaped crystal the size of two fists. This salmon color, definitely tingly in your hands. Holding it threatens to make your hand go numb, so you kind of like hot potato it for a bit.
And then she shoved that in her bag.
And then just bloop, 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 just put it in the bag. And then yeah, you have a dragon shard. And then you look up and you notice your party walking almost as if they're mesmerized slowly towards this dragon statue.
gonna scurry on over. Her hands are a little bit like clawish and roughed up from digging it out. Just a little bit. But she's gonna make her way over as well.
Behind you all, you can hear like tap 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 of Xalia treading through the puddles. What would you like to do?
Well, now that we're on the pedestal, I guess is there something like? Is it just like the brazier, or is there, or
Yeah.
whatever this is?
So as you move onto the pedestal, there's these almost foot-tall white candles. They're all lit, but they don't appear to be melting. And they're illuminating the area around the pedestal. It's definitely a sort of six-sided hexagon shape beneath the water. It's crystal clear, easy to tell that the stonework kind of steps down. And on the pedestal is, in addition to these candles, is a bowl full of ashes. And you can see on the bowl is an inscription. From here, those looking at the dragon statue, which I imagine is many people, can also see that there are candles illuminating the dragon statue that I forgot to draw in. Hang on. Bloop. There you go.
Whoa.
You can see that there's candles illuminating the dragon statue, which is very detailed. It is an immense creature that is depicted here. And there's an inscription on the brazier, like this cauldron bowl thing, and then there's inscriptions on the dragon statue, sort of where its base is. And you can now see this large statue of a dragon very clearly. It is overall kind of leaning towards a serpentine depiction. You can see that it definitely does have claws and four limbs, but it has a large curling tail, and over its forearms and along its tail, going all the way up as it coils around, goes up its back and around the head, this massive crest of fins that are kind of all over this thing. There's fins on its forearms, and then this huge stripe of a fin going all the way down its back. It's this massive kind of sail, as if it were. And then on its sides, on the sides of its head, it also has two fins. And it has this kind of elongated, but yet flat snout or muzzle, as it were, on this dragon. It's rippled with dragon scales, very large, angular things, instead of the small chips of scales that you have heard about from other lands, especially Xalia, the ones that you might have read about in your studies. And this beast is gargantuan, easily dwarfs all of you put together in size.
Does it seem at all familiar to the sea serpent that with her spear that she, had fun with?
Oh, not at all.
Okay, cool.
Just 100% different.
Yep. Okay.
Zoaz is going to make his way over here
Okay.
towards what I assume is something sort of poking out of the water.
Yeah. You watching over the rest of your party as they head towards the pedestal. So as you move over to something that pokes out of the water, it catches your attention, and it is a tablet, sort of like pentagonal shaped but rough at the top,
Mhm.
and it is just this massive stone's kind of little slab, and there's an inscription on it. In what languages do you know?
Zoaz knows, I believe, Common and Draconic? Yes.
Hey, all right. So in Draconic, you're able to read this.
Oh.
It reads, "The Eye of the Moon, bound by duty, watches over Khorzaire, ensures that all return to glory."
Okay. How tall is this tablet? Like, how far does it poke out of the water? Or
looks
better
like
question, does it obscure behind it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a 5-foot tablet. The inscription is very large letters and ornate. Someone had fun writing this.
Making his way over to the group to inform them, he's going to poke his head behind the tablet and see if there's anything there.
Okay. Make a dexterity? No. Just kidding. You don't have to roll anything. There is nothing behind the tablet.
Okay.
Except another inscription.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Good work. There is another inscription behind the tablet, and it reads. What languages? So just Common and Draconic.
Just those two.
It's not
Yes.
one you know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But there's
So it's just
definitely like
sort of
another
like a
set of
script.
words. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's just a script that Zoaz cannot understand.
Yeah, it's not familiar.
Okay. Well, continuing over, Zoaz will share what he saw with the group. Noting in particular that one of them was in Draconic and the other was in a language he doesn't recognize.
He's gonna take a look and see if he can recognize the script.
Okay, your languages, please.
Common, Primordial, and Thieves' Cant.
Okay. You come over here.
Does Xalia know?
You
That's
come
a
over
pretty
here,
unique
Twig.
set of languages to know.
It's like, what are you doing knowing Primordial?
Xalia knows Primordial too, actually, but she's busy. She's looking at the statue.
You cup your feathers underneath your chin, Twig, and unfortunately, it's not in a language that you're able to spy. But you do notice a peculiar marking. As you're peering over the tablet, on the top, like kind of where it's rough, you notice a peculiar marking used commonly to kind of like mark where to strike to ensure that things fall apart. You've seen it before back at Luxnox where you guys needed to get somewhere, but there was like a lock that was like a really old lock, and instead of trying to pick it because it was too rusted, you just decided to break it apart. And then it's this kind of thing where someone has gone to the trouble of ascertaining the structure in such a manner of applying an incredible amount of force to this one part will break the thing entirely, and it's in Thieves' Camp. That's why you know what it is.
Okay.
Did you say there was some sort of inscriptions on the fire bowl or
Yes.
the bowl of ashes?
Yeah, your languages.
I know. Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, and Orc.
Okay.
Oh.
In In Common, you read to save the life. In Elvish, right after it, you read you must first lose a part of yourself.
Makayla frowned at reading that. But I assume, is there more text after that in another language?
Make a general intelligence check.
Okay. And general intelligence check. This ain't real.
Well, that's fine because the DC was 5.
Okay.
Right underneath the first part, there is another inscription in Elvish, and at first you just kind of brushed it off as saying the same thing, just in Elvish. In Elven. But actually, in Elven it kind of also says to take a life. So they're arranged in a manner of these two things.
And then
these two things equal this next thing.
Interesting. I mean, she'll recite that to the group, and then sort of try her hand at the tablet languages, or any of those languages that she knows of Elvish, Dwarvish, Goblin, or Orc.
No, unfortunately not.
All right, back over here. She walks over, sort of squints, turns around.
So the Elvish part with like to take a life, you must first lose a part of yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it has the second part too included. Okay.
Would Chuman recognize this statue?
Maybe. Roll history. There's something kind of like scratching at in the back of your head, but you're not quite sure. Maybe you know the statue, or maybe you're just like trying to force yourself to think you know the statue.
And you also
Maybe
said,
also roll history, or that's just outside of her wheelhouse because she's not from this continent.
Let me think. I should have thought about this beforehand, huh? You can roll history, Xalia.
Did you also say the statue had an inscription?
Yes.
Or am I okay? I'll ask about that in a moment.
23.
History master Xalia.
It's funnier to imagine she has a affinity for like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
She's like creatures for unknown reasons.
Yeah, completely unknown.
Alternatively, we call her a nerd and laugh.
Nerd Xalia, you do recall reading about a creature that somewhat fits this description. You're not sure, like you're not sure, like who or what or which creature this is, or why it's here, or like any kind of like significance it has. But you are able to identify, Xalia, that the creature before you, carved in its regal splendor, is that of a very large, very ancient brown dragon.
Interesting.
These dragons are known for their ridiculous excellence at burrowing and digging underground. And
Okay.
they are also renowned for, well, not really renowned, but like one of their key traits is also they are very hungry. They love eating, and they like trying new. They're kind of like restaurant snobs. they love finding new flavors and new things to eat.
Ayla is going to leave the remainder of the bottle of dark mantle dribble at the statue as an offering.
Wait, like heave it? You said?
No, she's gonna walk up and leave it at the statue's feet.
Cool.
And I like the former.
Kayla kind of just raises an eyebrow. Should we be making offerings to this, Xalia?
He shrugs.
Oh, Xalia, while you're there,
Fair enough.
while you're there, you are able to read the inscription at the base of the dragon statue. It reads, "Doo-doo-doo. If the light of life is snuffed, when the ember returns from the ashes, all of Khorzaire shall rise."
Interesting.
And in Draconic, some distance below, kind of like where the water's lapping up against the dais, just because he rolled so high on history, we'll just use that. Wait, what languages do you know?
Common, Elvish, Dwarvish, Primordial.
Okay. Common.
Wait, Elvish? I know Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Primordial, not
Oh, okay.
Elvish. Yeah.
In Draconic, you read the Eye of the Moon.
Okay. And just nods it down somewhere. Walks back.
When you were noting that down, was that physically writing it into something?
Yeah, she's writing it down.
Okay. Zoaz is gonna sort of peer over and say, what's got you so interested, Xalia?
Kind of just point at the inscriptions.
Noticing them, Zoaz will take a look as well, and I assume sees the same thing.
Yep, you do.
She's left the bottle of dark mantle dribble on the second duh.
Okay. That's gonna set off a few alarm bells in Zoaz's head. And he's gonna sort of back away from the statue. And say, I may not be sure, but this may not be just a statue. Both the tablet references the Eye of the Moon, and this is labeled the Eye of the Moon. Either this is a beautiful likeness of such a creature, or we may not want to unbind the Eye of the Moon from his duty.
Twig looks around and he says, well, I don't see anyone else around here, so I can only imagine that this is the prophet that those monsters were talking about.
I definitely heard someone. They said something about a tablet. But
Are you sure it was not some, perhaps echo? Maybe something from that, something returning from further down the cave? Sounds can be.
I don't think there's any further down this cave. I think
The
this
mind
is
can
it.
play tricks on you, you know.
My mind, despite my age, is perfectly with me. Thank you very much.
Zoaz starts for a moment and looks and says, I did not mean to.
It's fine. It's fine. Kayla kind of, I guess, kind of shrugs it off. And so the candles, you said they're burning but not melting.
Yes.
Is it? Is the flame at all similar to like her match?
No.
The fiery shield. Okay, it's not like that kind of fire.
Yeah. It's largely just it's a different color.
Okay.
Like the effect is similar, where these candles are obviously not melting, and neither is your match head burning away. But the color is different. Yours is a sort of pale silver. These are striking yellow.
Got it.
Striking yellow, as in resembling the sun.
Absolutely. Chuman, you get inspiration. I've marked it on your sheet.
Hey.
Zoaz will walk over to Mouse and Toka and say, well, do you two have any thoughts on this?
You look at Mouse, and she is losing her mind.
Uh-huh.
Her mouth is wide open, like hanging from Toka, and just looking around, complete wide-eyed. Her eyes, like the whites of her eyes are as big as dinner plates. Toka looks bored.
He looks bored.
He does punch rocks.
True.
Zoaz just kind of shrugs and turns back around to the rest of the party.
Chuman is
Pastiche,
in
anything
deep
from you?
thought, just repeating the inscription from the mural in the previous room, or not the previous room, the sarcophagi room, and that's all you just basically hear from him.
Anything from Pastiche?
Pastiche is in a stupor, just staring wide-eyed, hyper-focused on this statue. Hasn't really noticed any of the conversation happening around him.
Zoaz is then going to start poking around the statue's sides and start making his way around it.
Okay. You can hear kind of like a rustle as Mouse comes to. She starts struggling. Put me down, you big lug. She starts kind of touching it with her foot. She's like, fine, go get wet.
Xalia's going for a swim.
In like inches deep water.
And Mouse extricates herself from Toka, and she just kind of walks in a circle for a bit, taking in everything, and then runs over to the tablet, and then reads the inscription out loud, and then runs over to the back of the tablet and reads the inscription out loud, and then and then Zoaz, you head over to the side.
I like to imagine as Zoaz just sort of slowly wading through, Xalia passes by, backstroking at top speed.
She's actually struggling a little bit because she already burned her one swim for the day.
I see.
So she's kind of just annoyed because she can't swim as well as she wants to.
As a
But
reminder,
she's still trying to.
As a reminder, the water is only a few inches deep.
Oh, never mind.
Was Mouse able to read the back inscription?
Yeah, Twig. So as your ears do a double take, you're like, huh? Wait a minute. You can see Mouse is kind of like tracing her finger as she's reading it out loud. Would you like to eavesdrop on her or something?
I absolutely would love to eavesdrop on her.
Okay. So as you miss maybe like the first half of this inscription that Mouse is reading, but you catch, like, once you realize that she's reading it, you catch the later half, which is oh crap, did I overwrite it? Hang on one moment.
Mouse loses her place.
Yeah.
Mouse fucking dies.
Shall we read it again?
Mouse just splats immediately.
She turned the page and it was all blank.
She actually genuinely loses her place as you kind of like stand over her and she senses your presence. She's like, yeah? Twig?
Twig just nods and says, "Don't mind me. Go on, go on."
What? Oh, did you guys not get this before? Am I in your way?
Oh no, go right ahead.
Oh. Don't have to ask me twice. And Mouse reads 6. Let's see. This is really incredible, you guys. It says 6 fires to be kept. Oh, what's this word? She pulls out like an almanac. Lit. 6 fires. Page. Doused by the king once all return, the door to Cyril will be opened. And it says something here about a prophet bearing a light, but it says, I don't know, like the word's kind of weird to translate. It's not like a code for common, you know. I guess the base word is fire, but I mean it's open to interpretations. It's all context.
How loud is this? Like, does the group hear it, or is it just just the people over there?
You can tell that Mouse and Twig and now Chuman are discussing something while Mouse is kneeling against the tablet.
But it's not like I get that there's a conversation, but I can't like make it out entirely.
Mouse's voice is a little husky, so you can tell that she's saying something, but it's difficult to hear as in this echoey room.
Okay. And Zoaz continues on.
Yeah.
She's just doing her her thing and getting excited over ruins and relics.
Yeah, Makayla's kind of also doing like a perimeter sweep of the statue. Though when she goes and looks at the text at the front, was there anything in Elvish, or was it just the Draconic?
Just the common and then the draconic.
Okay. Alright. And then... yeah, she's just gonna sort of walk around, sort of glancing at the statue to see if there's anything else there, but like mainly kind of around to see if there's any sort of trace of this mystery person that was here.
Okay. Look around. There's the candles. They're usually arranged in threes on top of these these kind of like little plates that are floating around in the water, just a couple inches above the ground. You can see the greenery and the vines coming off of the rock walls, but it's quite curious. The more time has passed, like even the ripples have died down, and the only movement, the only sound is yourself and your party. And you can't see anybody. I mean, seems like the coast is clear.
The beginning of his adventure is going to occur to him, and Zoaz is going to start scanning the ceiling.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Uh-huh.
Same mouse.
How tall is the walls in this?
Time to find out.
If the dragon dwarfs it.
Okay. All right. You see quite a few stalactites, and they're all kind of dripping this water, as you know, the place is filled with water, and it rises and falls with natural, you know, the cycle of condensation. And it's slightly warm in here, so yeah, it definitely facilitates that.
Yeah.
You cast a wary eye over the stalactites. None of them descend upon you and attempt to eat you or anything.
Uh-huh.
Yet.
Yeah, if we get loud enough, maybe they will.
Say, mouse, you've gotten yourself in. You've traveled quite around. You know about how they dispose of dead bodies to prevent the curse?
She looks up at you. Adjusts her goggles. Make a persuasion check. You mean you don't
Persuasion
know?
it is. Living under the caves, you don't get to learn too many things.
What do you mean, living under the caves? Where are you from?
Well, I am not from around here, but when I did travel, most of my time was spent
Sorry.
in caves. I was searching for things. So there was rare times where I've actually traveled to cities. And even then they were small towns.
I see. Well, I do know, but many people don't, because it's not worth thinking about, you know? Dude, it's kind of fallen outside of public information because it's not important to know. But I guess it is always weighing on the back of the minds of, you know, the merchant kings and queens and people that are privy to it, like people part of the future's answer. Do you really want to know?
Yes, it is quite different how things are handled with dead bodies here, considering that in my lands we use sarcophagus and burials.
Make another persuasion check to continue the conversation.
I'm gonna use the inspiration.
Okay.
Can't stop me.
Here comes a 1.
Can't stop me.
Ah,
Nice.
okay. She
Buffing for inspiration.
stands up. She looks a little unsure of herself and kind of like brushes her knees, but it doesn't do anything because they're wet and not dusty. And all right. And she beckons you closer and whispers it into your ear. And I'm passing you a note.
Okay.
While I'm passing Chuman this note, what's everyone else doing?
Well, Zoaz is going to make his way back to the sort of central pedestal here. And he really only has one idea. So he's going to take his necklace, and he's going to detach the, like with a sort of mechanical click, he's going to detach the sun and moon portions, and then walking over to the bowl full of ashes, he's going to drop the sun portion into it.
Okay. Make a regular intelligence check. Okay. Raikel, you hear this in Mouse's husky voice. Zoaz, when you do this, there's this little click, and you drop the sun in it, in this bowl, but nothing seems to happen. You wait a few moments, maybe waiting to see if there's some sort of a delayed reaction, and nothing seems to happen. And it occurs to you that perhaps perhaps the way to light a fire is through something through like flint and tinder rather than
Well,
metal.
he wasn't trying to light a fire.
Okay, well it
He
comes
thought it
over
was
you
a
anyway.
symbolic altar.
It's definitely a symbolic altar, but
He
somehow
wasn't-
this comes into your brain.
Zoaz notices nothing happens and retrieves his the now slightly covered in ashes sun portion of his necklace.
Makayla kind of exhales as nothing happens, relieved. Um, I came to a very similar conclusion, but I guess it appears it requires a more literal flame.
And Zoaz nods and says, "Well, it's worth a shot, I suppose."
Indeed. Look on the bright side. Turns out you don't have to sacrifice a dear part of you. From the way I see it, there are two other, maybe three other options. We could snuff out all the other lights, and maybe that's what it's asking for. Or light this, light the brazier with something else, and hope that does the trick. Seeing as my first instinct with the mural and the coins was wrong, I am hesitant to try anything.
Zoaz nods understandingly and sort of mulls it over. Well, something does not sit right with me about all of Khorzaire rising. And I am not quite sure why.
Twig nods and says, I was worried about that as well. There is a third option, though.
Zoaz tilts his head.
Twig points back at the tablet where Mouse and Chuman are talking. And he says, on the top of that tablet, there is a marking. And that marking means weak spot. It might seem rash, but we could try pursuing that as well, instead of this breacher. But I'll leave it up to you three.
Perhaps we should consult with Mouse and see if she has gotten what she can from that. And then I suppose it could really only hurt the ruins.
True.
Do you have any thoughts, Pastiche?
I have gotten what I need out of this.
Makayla kind of raises an eyebrow.
I've committed it to memory.
Oh. That's what you mean. Well, I'm
Zoaz
sure I
is
will
going
make a
to
beautiful painting later.
Yeah, Zoaz is going to pat Pastiche on the shoulder as he passes by.
You have been listening to what we've been saying, right?
Of course. The weak point, right? We're going to break it.
You see Mouse suddenly shift away from Chuman, and she like covers the tablet protectively with her body. No, you're not.
Pastiche, I'm afraid the dragon's gaze has caught more attention than you've led on.
What?
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
You've been standing there since we've gotten here. You haven't moved a single inch since.
That's right.
How could you know of any of the inscriptions if they were not spoken aloud for every one of them?
I don't believe Pastiche mentioned the
What?
inscriptions.
And out of character, Makayla did speak out the ones that she read.
Are you alright, Chuman?
Yes. There's a lot on my mind.
You seem
Never
a bit
mind.
shaken. But, no matter, I suppose it is quite a situation we are in. Mouse, if you do not wish for us to destroy this tablet, then what would you suggest we do?
I mean, what I would do is just start doing what it says. Just like start, like turning everything on. I don't know. The inscriptions seem to be pointing towards like do something, and then all of Khorzaire shall rise, return to glory, that kind of thing.
I'm not sure.
The other ones say
Oh.
it's save lives.
I don't think that's
remember that.
necessarily. Go ahead.
Do remember that these ruins were mentioning Wenceslas? I do not remember everything. I'm sure you are more learned in his lore than I am. I seem to recall that he wasn't... I mean, he did some great things, yes, but also some terrible things.
That may be true. Yeah, he.
And if it may not be as cut and dry as fulfilling what the inscriptions say, given that last time we did, it nearly drowned us all on the spot.
That could be because you didn't do what it said, Zoaz.
So what then do you think it is telling us to do? We could light the fire. We could snuff out the other fires. We've already tried giving up a possession.
Well,
I'd rather not. We're all rather beaten and tired. I'd rather not flood this room as well.
Mouse steps aside and points at the reverse side of the tablet. This one mentions that there's 6 fires and that they've been doused, and then once they're lit up, it says the way to Cyril will be open, and that's pretty interesting to me.
The thing, by the way, that Xalia is now looking at.
What's up?
That
The thing up in the corner.
Yeah, Xalia, you have found a floating plate. It's some sort of like buoyant, porous metal, and it holds 3 candles. They are different sizes, and they're arranged in somewhat of a triangle. They have a striking yellow light, but the candles do not appear to be melting. It gives off a warm, gentle light.
Okay.
Upon hearing "open the way to Cyril," Makayla's expression would probably, I guess, soften a bit and become more interested. So, open the way to Cyril, does it say?
Yeah, right there. She points at it.
You can read that.
She looks confused for a moment, and then holds up a book. Yeah, well, not fluently. I've got this thing. It's
What?
It's in this really old language. It's Sorry, she doesn't actually pause. It's in Celestial.
I see.
Celestial?
I had not heard of that.
Yeah, it's the language of the gods. Any answer will at least have one of these books, if not know it all right. I'm still trying to train myself to read it. It's really difficult because it speaks kind of in riddles. It doubles back on itself all the time, and it's really context heavy. It's difficult to get out what it is because it drones on so much. In fact, like this whole thing, this 5 feet of tablet with all these lines, it only says three sentences.
Yes, well,
Hmm.
the messages of the gods can indeed be hard to interpret, believe me.
Well, are the candles that are scattered around the room, are they like the same candles as the ones on the pedestals?
Yes.
That same kind of flame?
Yes.
Yellow flame? Alright. Kayla kind of looks around, sighs, looks at the mouse, and says, well, if this room floods or anything else happens that goes wrong, let it be known that it was your idea to do something. Michaela's gonna go grab one of these candles, like put her staff in her arm, grab one of these candles, and bring it over here, and like gesture that she's gonna light the brazier with that candle.
You can see Mouse kind of like ball up both her fists, and she looks like ready. She's like, I want to go to Cyril, you guys.
Twig looks like he's gonna say something, but holds himself back. And looks like he's bracing himself.
One last look around. Any objections?
You can see Mouse popping off. She's like, even with her bad legs, she's kind of like bouncing in place. You look at Toka, and he's just got his arms crossed, eyes closed, waiting. Your gaze lingers, like anybody who looks at Toka, and he looks less annoyed and bored now, and he just seems like at ease and at peace. You can see his chest and shoulders rise and fall very calmly. He was just standing there, waiting.
Pastiche takes a single step back.
I have
That's all he can make himself do.
Makayla, before she lights the flame, look at Toka and ask, you have a rather curious reaction to all of this, Toka. Is this not some of the very things you've set out to find? Sure, gestures to the room and the statue.
I was merely enjoying the moment. Deep in this maze of a temple or shrine, whatever this place is, in its labyrinthine curves, I am able to find peace. Hidden
Okay,
away
well,
from any-
while he's like talking, Makayla just lights the flame. Makayla doesn't want to get lectured.
Wow. Okay. So, as Toka is talking, speaking about being hidden in mazy caves and being at peace in the twists and turns, you just light the fire with the candle, and something amazing happens. Makayla, when you light this fire, the other ones in your immediate vicinity go out. And then immediately, a large, roaring bonfire of a pale silvery flame explodes, roars, rises up from this middle brazier, this kind of ghostly gray. Behind you along the way.
Oh.
Lighting up with this warm, gentle, caressing flame that cascades over all of you. It also lights up the dragon statue ahead. Just everything basking in the warm, easy glow of this silver flame. And you hear, "Are you kidding me? That's what you had to do?" And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.